Hey guys, Spirit of the Law here. A week ago, I had an exchange with a very polite commenter on YouTube. In the RAM speed video, I was looking at the speed of different units, and I was using the Japanese in the Dark Age to do all my testing, and I had a Woad Raider as one of the reference units, and it was almost the same speed as a RAM with drill. Now, someone correctly pointed out that we don't see the Woad Raider in its base speed like I had in the test, because they always come from a Celt player who has faster infantry speed. When I test them with the Japanese, they don't get the Celt infantry bonus, so it makes them look slower than they ever appear in the game, and therefore they're not a great reference for what I was doing. It was a good call and a bit of an oversight on my part, so I suggested maybe a Woad Raider that was converted by a Japanese player would revert to its base speed, mostly grasping at straws at this point, which he corrected me in saying no, the converted Woad Raider would still have its 15% speed bonus. At this point, I'm realizing he's probably correct, but let's take a look at unit stats and conversions. So here I have a Celt longswordsman, and I'm going to convert it into my Mongol horde. The AI is set to Imperial Age, so all the Castle Age techs are done, and I'm also Mongols in Imperial Age, so I'll create a swordsman here. The two are statistically identical because up to this point, Mongols and Celts have the same techs. Now if I start getting some upgrades, notice what happens. My longswordsman upgrades like normal, but the converted one doesn't. I can even upgrade mine to champion and the converted one stays the exact same. That makes sense since it could mess up the game balance if you could steal units from other civilizations without certain blacksmith techs and then get them all. Imagine the insanity of being a Japanese player and stealing an Aztec pikeman with +8 attack and then upgrading it to halberdier, which Aztecs don't have access to but Japanese do, and then if it also got your 33% faster attack rate. That sort of thing obviously shouldn't be possible, and it's not. What's weird is that part of the game still seems to know, though, that the longswordsman I converted should be a champion, since when I double-click on my champion, it highlights the converted longswordsman too. Normally double-clicking on a unit only selects units of that type on the screen, so that's pretty weird. If I test it, the longswordsman still has his faster infantry speed from being Celts, so I've really converted the unit exactly as it was when it was owned by the Celt player. It's obvious from this test that he's retained his Celt infantry speed boost and not picked up the squires that my civilization has researched, and he's not picking up any of the blacksmith techs either. I basically can't modify him in any way. Something kind of weird can happen though. If I try converting a Saracen monk with my Mongol ones, I notice I convert him and he retains his stats. You can see that he has +3 range from block printing, for example, which Mongols don't get but Saracens do. Awesome, so I now have a monk with block printing, which I shouldn't have normal access to. Saracens also get redemption too, so they can convert buildings in siege, whereas my monks can't. If I try with a converted monk though, he won't convert this house. The redemption tech doesn't seem to have carried over, which is a little weird. Every other time I converted a unit, it seemed to keep their original bonuses and stats, but not this time. If I reverse it and I'm the Saracens converting an inferior Mongol monk, he doesn't get my much better upgrades, but suddenly he's picked up my redemption tech. Likewise, if we're both Saracen, but I haven't researched redemption yet, and he's in post-imperial, it still doesn't transfer over and let me convert buildings if I don't have it researched. Now I don't mean to confuse the issue here, because for most techs and bonuses, it seems you get their unit exactly how it was for them, but in this case, it seems to depend on what you have researched. That's also true of Heresy, which converted units pick up if you have it. One possible explanation for the pattern is that when some technologies are done, it adds a tag with that info to your units, especially for technologies and civ bonuses that affect health, attack, unit speed, attack rate, whereas some other techs are global and they don't get attached as tags to your units, like Heresy and Redemption, which might work more like a trigger and say if player 1 unit is converted and player 1 has Heresy, then the unit dies, and that wouldn't get transferred over if player 2 converts one of player 1's monks. This doesn't just apply to monks though. The Japanese tech of faster trebuchet packing also seems to be one of those global scripts, and it doesn't make the transition when it's converted. The faster firing Mongol Cavalry Archer bonus, though, does seem to transfer, so you can't always predict which technologies and bonuses are going to carry over, but it seems like the majority do. I definitely learned something in trying this out, and maybe you did too. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.